Connecting the grid. In 2021, freezing temperatures plunged millions of Texans into darkness. With no heat, pipes and homes burst, and temperatures were in the single digits. Hundreds died. The blackout lasted days. The power grid was only minutes away from completely collapsing. As the heat ramps up this summer, there are growing concerns about the reliability of our state's grid and the prospect of rolling blackouts. So what will it take to keep the state out of the dark? Congressman Greg Casar, joined by 21 other members of Congress, sent a letter urging the Biden administration's Department of Energy to build transmission lines between ERCOT and national electric grids. Will Dupree sat down with the representative to understand his plan.
You and some colleagues sent a letter to the Department of Energy focused on electric reliability here in Texas. What was the intent of that letter? What would you like to see that agency do?
We need to interconnect the Texas grid. A recent MIT study showed that by fully interconnecting Texas to the national grids, basically catching up to the 21st century, we could have prevented 80% of the blackouts that we suffered during Winter Storm Uri. We could prevent blackouts that we might be facing in a hot summer like this one. And so we need more electric transmission, that is, electric lines that pull energy in and out of Texas. Our letter is asking the Biden administration to change course and to start including Texas in our electric transmission planning. It's just basically been that we've had an electric grid with a Texas-shaped donut hole in it for the longest period of time. And I think it's time for the Biden administration and for the state of Texas to change course and start building electric lines in and out of the state.
Is there any answer just yet from the Department of Energy or anyone from the Biden administration?
In a committee hearing just a few weeks ago, I asked the Secretary of Energy, so the highest ranking energy official in the Biden administration, what it was she thought about interconnecting the Texas grid. And she pointed to Winter Storm Uri as the perfect example of why we need that kind of interconnection. And so I'm looking forward to working with the Biden administration on this issue. I think that they've been real leaders on energy issues, and I think they'll be leaders here. And so I'm looking forward to a positive response from them. If we get a yes answer from the Biden administration, which I hope and expect we will, that'll open up billions of dollars in potential financing for electric transmission lines in and out of Texas. And even if we just build up electric transmission around the state, it'll make it easier for us to hook into that. And we'll be able to use that in times of extreme need because it's really hot or really cold.
Along with this letter to the Biden administration, Congressman Casar co-sponsored the Connect the Grid Act. It would require ERCOT to connect to the nation's two major power grids. Some Republicans, including Randy Weber of Texas, opposed the bill, saying that the national grid had its own challenges. At this point, the bill has only been referred to the Subcommittee on Energy, Climate, and Grid Security. So why does Texas have its own electric grid? When Congress passed the Federal Power Act in 1935, it gave the federal government authority to regulate the transfer of electricity between states. Utility companies in Texas came to an agreement that they would not send any power out of the state. In 1965, after a national power outage, new federal regulations were introduced to create councils focused on electric reliability. That's when the Electric Reliability Council of Texas, or ERCOT, was created. In 1996, under then Governor George W. Bush, ERCOT became the country's first independent system operator with the goal to provide lower prices to customers throughout the state.
They're not exempt from the pitfalls of humanity or other corporate greed.
Managing two operating rooms simultaneously, leaving critical portions of surgeries to residents. The hospital at the center of a $15 million settlement.
They're putting themselves in between two people sometimes that want to harm each other with guns.
And the U.S. government's top doctor declares gun violence a public health crisis, the changes that could be on the horizon.